So welcome everyone to Something Leads meeting for the team. Today is May 30th, as you can clearly see on the screen. I just want to, first of all, give a huge thank you to everyone, like just literally everyone, for working hard all year. You all know that FRR was on Friday, and honestly, it went really well. I think we made a lot of progress when it came to our relationship with the alumni, and they seem to be more engaged than ever. I was really happy to see them just give us so much feedback and help. I did send him an email earlier today, just giving them a thank you. And also for any of them who were not able to attend, I sent them the recording, the report, and the slides, so they can maybe take a look at that and see if they can come up with any other questions. Haley, I know you asked Jordan and Juan Carlos to come up with like a message for them to like tell them like, hey, if you want to be more involved as far as like joining the IAA meetings, as far as like a speaker or just being involved at all. So I added that message they gave me, and just pretty much I think monthly just sending them an email with like updates or videos or things like that, and inviting them to other stuff will be really helpful. I will be an alumni. Well, I am kind of not really an alumni right now, so I think that's something I would like to see too for the upcoming league, just for y'all to, I guess, keep all the alumni more engaged, and advisors too. I know there are other people not part of the IAA who want to be, I guess, sort of advisors, since they're going to be working in the aerospace field. So I'll finalize a Google Sheet with all of that, and I will send it to anyone. Haley, I don't know who will be. Is it Jordan? I don't know who's going to be taking care of that.
Yeah, go ahead and do Jordan, just because, well, honestly, message either of them, they'll communicate with each other.
All right, thank you, Irvin.
But I think Jordan's been just a little better about communicating as of the summer right now.
Okay, that works then. All right.
But I guess, hold on, like really quickly, I guess it won't be very hard to keep up with them next year, since we are going to be like doing like the whole like monthly newsletter thing. So I think that's going to like help keep them engaged.
Yep, I think that'll be great. Okay, that was some comments. I guess I have a couple of other comments. As far as the presentation goes, it went really well. I think everyone did a really good job. There are a few things that I feel like we can improve on for next year whenever we're doing presentations to make them go a lot smoother. But I was not able to write them down here because that would make me basically have to watch the whole thing and then take notes and just do all that. And I just wasn't able to get to it. But no meeting slides for tomorrow. Again, tomorrow's meeting is just going to be another just small update meeting, just like we've been having over the last few weeks. Social flagship events, none planned. Of course, it's the summer. Now let's move on to like the main stuff for today. Me doing this reminds me of something that I shouldn't have been doing during the meeting. It's just moving my mouse too much. So little things like that, I should probably go back to and kind of avoid for the next one. But okay, so some resources. I know the alumni provided some resources. Ravi sent it in the analysis chat. So things like this are pretty much what we want from the alumni, just because we're getting a lot more technical. And this is straight from NASA. Requirements for threaded fastening systems and spaceflight hardware. I know Ravi said he tried reading it earlier today on his first try, and I haven't quite looked at it yet. So let's see what type of stuff they have in here. This seems like a lot. Yeah, it seems like a lot. So maybe if you want to like learn this stuff, you should probably take a whole week to get through this. But here it is. If there's anything else that they mention, you can always just add it here. But let's move on to the MLA. And this is just stuff not really tied to the FRR yet. Those are like below. For the MLA, the centering rings have been cut. So a huge thank you to Dom and his dad for being able to do that for us for free. There is one small issue. I think I mentioned it on the structure chat. I was gonna send a picture, but I honestly forgot. And it's that the bottom centering ring that's cut into four doesn't have enough space for the fin slots to fit. So they literally just cut a like a circle in four. That can easily be solved by just cutting down the I guess more of the of like the fourth circle. So there's enough space. So we'll just probably cut that at the lab. That shouldn't be a big problem. I already talked to Gustavo about it too. And then I think you have answered my question about this. Tomorrow, y'all are gonna be at the lab, correct, Haley? Or Irvin, should I say?
Yes, we'll be at the lab tomorrow. I don't know how many days we're going this week, but probably a lot.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Haley. The paint, or I guess the design, I took the body tubes and nose cones and the bow tail. Thank you. Huge shout outs to Goose, Haley, and Brendan for staying up all night for like a few days in a row and getting all those things done. But they are now with IA coatings. I did talk to Tracy for a little bit, and I told them, we're gonna be leaving on the 19th, and we need a few days to do dry runs and finish like a little more things on the airframe. And he said he'll find a way to get it done as fast as he possibly can. We'll just have to ask, I guess, get an update from him so later this week and next week too. Besides that, payload, avionics, or recovery, are there any of you want to give any like little updates or things that you plan on doing this week, or stuff that you're going to be changing due to the FRR? Anything at all? Yes, Ravi.
I guess I'll go first.
That's not Ravi, that's Carlos. Oh my
God. I'll go first. Yeah. So I think as far as recovery goes, I think in terms of making any significant changes, we are not going to make any significant changes. I think at this stage, all we basically have to do is practice a lot and get really familiar with everything we're going to be doing to assemble and to be prepared for competition. So I do want to make sure that we start kind of documenting every single step that we have to do, as well as trying to make the assembly easier by like trying to label things a little better, so we don't make any mistakes during the assembly. And also I do have to message avionics to get the bulkhead completed.
All right. Thank you, Carlos.
Yeah, I just want to say really quick that we made sure that when we sent off the stuff for IA coatings that we only gave them the payload bay to keep it together. So the avionics bay is still in the lab, so y'all can, test that everything fits in there. But the payload one is going to be gone with the rest of the stuff.
Thank you, Irvin.
Perfect. Okay, avionics is not here. So Izzy, also a huge shout out to Izzy. She got bombed like with a lot of questions during the FRR, and she did a really good job with answering everything. I know you mentioned a couple of things today to me about like future plans.
Yeah, so I plan to have a meeting with payload within the next 2 days to go over everything from the FRR, and then also like what changes need to be made. So any minor changes, like just adding ABS to things or reprinting things in ABS, is all that needs to be done. We have the assembly process pretty down. It's just perfecting that in like an efficient way. and then making sure we know everything. We're not like mixing up words like I did. And then like having kind of a folder to reference. And then all the other stuff we're doing, we're just writing stuff down that'll help like future payloads. Like, oh, if you do this, you might want to like talk to avionics or in the future, talk to analysis about this in the future. Just giving like a basis because we didn't really have, it was a used experiment, but it wasn't like too big of a base to work off of. So it
Yeah.
still felt a little scratch.
I think that's a great idea. I think any sub team should be doing stuff like that. Even Gustavo and I as leads, we kind of have been doing. We had our meeting last week, like kind of like a transitional meeting with stuff of like, hey, if you try doing this, you know, contact this person or do it this way. This worked better. So good stuff, Izzy. Okay, let's move on. So, all right, Andrew Avani is is amazing. He's awesome for sending this. He literally sent this like in less than an hour after the FRR was done. So he had a few questions. This first one here is for structures, and you don't have to answer that right now, Haley. But if you could like answer it on this one, I think you know how many and like the angle too. What am I doing? What did I just do? I'm sorry. Hold up.
Is Control Z.
I tried. I think he just went to a different meeting notes. Okay. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong thing. Whatever. So yeah, this one is for analysis. This one's a little more complicated. It took me a couple of reads to kind of understand what he was asking. He also provided an image. Actually, let me. Nope. Y'all are about to see my emails. Here we go. Yeah, so he provided like a few like images and stuff of like what he was asking about. But yeah, if y'all can try to,
Could you screenshot that and add it to the doc, please?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna have to stop sharing my screen. I'll do it right after this because I'm having trouble using my computer right now for some reason.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there's a few other questions that we could please answer whenever y'all have time. And then there's something else that Alex actually asked, and I guess this is for Goose, and that's, or even analysis too. So one thing that our FEA is doing, or what we did in our FEA, is that we treated the centering rings and the motor sleeve as a solid part. Correct? We don't have any basis or any info about how much force is gonna take for the epoxy in the motor sleeve to like shear, right?
No, I don't know how it was done in the end, or what kind of I guess what would it be called, boundary conditions were used in between the centering rings and the motor sleeve. But the way I imagined it and the way I described it for when they were supposed to do it is that there's supposed to be a fixed condition between the two of them. Now, in terms of calculating kind of what's going to happen there, I guess I don't really know exactly how that's going to model like exactly. The other way to do it would be to like actually model in the epoxy and, see what's going to happen within the epoxy, which I think is another kind of like problem within itself. But our epoxy, if we use even just JB Weld is rated for 3,900 PSI. And
Okay.
if you want to go ahead and calculate 3/4 of an inch thick over the circumference of the motor sleeve, I'm,
Uh-huh.
I'm okay with where that's at in terms of strength.
Okay. Okay. Cool. We can just do that then. I guess it was just, I guess in the future, I don't even think we can probably do an FEA with the epoxy. But maybe that could be like an actual test. We can go to the lab and test how much actual force, depending on how much epoxy we use.
We definitely can. And one of the things you said, which I guess would be the difference here, is if we used the model of the whole MLA as a solid part, as like just one continuous piece, that's different than placing a boundary condition between the two pieces of the centering ring and the sleeve itself,
Okay.
and placing a fixed condition there.
Ravi?
Yeah. So at first we treated the entire assembly as one solid part, as you said, and that's when we were falsely led to believe that the load distribution would be the same across the centering rings. But when we reran it with what Gustavo said of using the fixed conditions between the centering rings and the motor sleeve tube, whatever, that's when we found out that the load would be concentrated towards the bottom, which is why we decided to beef that centering ring up and add more screws.
Okay.
I don't believe it was possible to, at least on what Prith used, which I believe was a AutoCAD Inventor, I don't believe it was possible to model like an epoxy joint or epoxy connection. I'm not sure about SolidWorks. I don't think you can, but I know you can on FEMAP.
FEMAP.
That's not going to happen at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I could model a fillet between the two parts as just a secondary part and just like subtract all the volume that is interfering with the rings and the sleeve. So you're left with what is like, I guess, essentially a fillet, and it'll be fixed on both the sleeve and the what's it called? The centering rings, and you could go through that, but that's just a whole lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
You could just
value
find the surface
for-
area you want and then just multiply it by the what's it called, the strength,
yeah,
the epoxy we decide to use, and it's going to be beefed up by the fact that there's going to be chopped fibers in there.
Okay.
people are using the West system.
Yeah.
Stuff,
Hell, you
right?
could even do like a fillet layup. If that makes sense. Like just add sheet, touch both the
centering and the
ring.
motor sleeve.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if y'all can just answer these, I think for what question is it? This one with the picture I mentioned. You can answer by looking at the purchase order and actually looking at the fins. I think I sent something on structures a couple of days ago of what one of the answers was, but yeah, let's move on to competition. It's in 3 weeks.
I have one more thing to add.
Oh, go ahead.
Which is on the note of what Alex brought up towards the end of the meeting, which was having a whole bunch of, I guess, just operations planned out and getting practice in to get all that figured out, and I guess as best as we can into muscle memory. There is also something else that I want to add in, which Randy touched on, which is having a folder, which is all the information about Zenith compiled into like a binder, whether that be the material safety data sheet for like the epoxy that we used, any kind of like stats on like the strength, what kind of screws we have, I guess like you can even go as crazy as saying like putting the purchase order for the screws that we had in there. Just as much as information as we can fit in there that we care to add into there, have it in there. Like just it's appendix galore, and just have all the information there, and just have everybody kind of go through and practice looking up everything that needs to go in there and being familiar with the information that's in there. So when we're at competition, nobody has to memorize anything. Although it is pretty good if you know
Yeah.
things very well, Ravi. But if everybody knows what's in there, it looks way better to be like, I don't have that figure on the top of my head, but we have it and it's very available for you to look at and just pull up the figure for them. Randy said that is top-notch quality, like, stuff if we bring something like that to the competition for the judges.
Riley?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We should definitely start working on that as soon as
So
possible.
yeah, if there's anything that you think is important, any tidbit of information, whether it be graphs, pictures, anything, just pile it into a doc. I can start that up, and we'll just organize it. I guess by the end of the week, something like that, over the weekend, and then we can start sifting through it and just having yeah, I guess if any alumni want to make themselves useful now that they've mentioned it, we can have them throw these questions at us and see what if we can get any practice in looking things up in the doc.
How much of a concern is it that a decent amount of our tech report stuff isn't entirely accurate? Do you think,
I was talking to Randy about that, and he didn't give me an exact answer on that, but his vibe kind of just was that we submitted the report, that's what it is. At the time that we submitted it, that was the most up-to-date information. If something changes last minute, so be it, I guess. But if what we're presenting at the I guess just at the thing, whenever judge asks us, what they're seeing should be pretty up to date, or like just the latest information. But I can
like the
ask him
idea,
that
Goose.
directly to get a solid answer on that.
I guess everyone right now too can start compiling all that stuff, and then once Gustavo and I come up with the format of putting it into a folder, we can start formatting everything.
Yeah.
But that would be great, like having graphs and stats. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else before we go to our last section of today? Okay. All right. Okay, so one thing I don't think anyone has done yet is paying for our competition fees. So it's going to be $75 per person. I'm sorry. I wish nobody would have to pay anything, but just because of how the team is, everyone who is attending will have to pay $75. And you can do that just any way. We've done it over the last few months with that, the payment methods, the Venmo, all that stuff. And then as far as competition planning goes, I do need help from 2 people because I don't want to have too many hands on it.
Can I cut in for just a second? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Can you post the link to this meeting in the competition chat?
All right, dude, I keep forgetting about the competition chat. I'm sorry about that.
You're good.
Honestly, right now, I kind of want, as far as sub-team leads go, like all the stuff we do, I kind of want to start also, I guess, just transitioning to the competition chat because I don't want them to be left behind.
Let's say this, if you already know who you're, you can, comment if you don't like this idea, Irving, but if you know who your sub-team lead is going to be for next year, just let's go ahead and give them the sub-team lead role so they can just hop on it.
I think there's like a couple of people who we've like kind of know 100%, but not entirely. Can we decide on that Wednesday, Ravi and Goose, when we have our transition meeting?
Yeah, I like that idea. Let's go with
Yeah,
that.
that's a good idea.
Is
Okay.
that Wednesday at 8 as well, or is it a different time?
7.
Can we do 7, please?
Yeah, 7 is good.
Cool, thank you.
Okay. Well, if you want to help me with the competition planning and like logistics and like Google Forms and like all that other stuff and like who's driving, what's gonna go in what car, who's gonna be in whose car, all that stuff, just send me a DM. Because I know a lot of you are busy with other stuff. I don't want to ask everyone to help, but if you
Yeah,
have
I
some
got
time,
you. I got you any day of the week, any day of the weekend, as long as it's after 6 p.m. during the week.
okay.
I will say, as far as help for planning and things like that, you might actually be able to get people who are going to competition that aren't leads to help you with that.
Okay, I'm gonna do that then. I'm gonna send a message on that chat.
One thing I don't know if it's been mentioned yet is the competition video. We need to get that recorded and uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah. Can we talk about that on Wednesday too?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Any last comments or questions from anyone?
I hope you have a nice day.
Thank you, Adrian. Ravi?
Yeah, so with all the comments the alumni were making, I guess I want to know what degree do we want to like update the work that we've done in terms of analysis, because there's some stuff we can update which will lead to us like almost contradicting ourselves. Like for the screw calculator, I was looking at root diameters instead of major diameters.
Yeah.
And it makes our factor of safety like negative if we want to go with 12 screws.
Yeah, I
Like
think
things
on some
like
of that, if we want to go through with it and say like this is another figure that we have that's not related to the other one, I guess we could go with that. But what I was looking at in terms of the Fastenal report that said we can use the 60% of tensile strength for the shear strength, I think takes that into account. I can try to dig up the report again,
Oh,
but I'm
takes into
pretty sure
account
that.
like you using the major diameter.
What's that?
Are you saying the 60% takes into account using the major diameter as opposed to the root
Yeah,
diameter?
because when you find the tensile strength of something, I guess, if the screw is rated for 70,000 psi,
I would think the like 60% still applies to the root diameter.
that's true. Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, we like grossly overestimated the landing load,
Yeah,
but I think it's still a bit weird to show up to spaceport and be like, hey, our factor of safety is like
negative.
1 or below.
Okay. I know this is, and I guess Goose, you can decide on this with me, but since we overestimating the landing load by a lot, could we try to come up with a more realistic number? Maybe that would help.
So
And
I
if it
was
does-
thinking about that.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get more realistic, that's even better. We can even try to, I guess, call other or like email other competition teams and see kind of what their experience has been at spaceport. I can try to reach out to Nick from Rice and see well, they really haven't had a successful recovery in a while, but what their experience is like at Spaceport and all, and we can try to get a better estimate for that. I mean, our method of kind of just estimating how deep it goes into the ground, it's pretty freshman level math,
Yeah.
like freshman level physics. So I don't even know if that's a decent estimate. My only basis is that I did a factor safety of like 3, and I don't remember what assumption I used for it landing in the south side, like in the dirt. But when it landed again in Texas Shootout, there was 0 issues in terms of the bay and the shearing screws.
Mm-hmm. I'll try and come up with a more accurate number. I'm sure Omar and I can put something together.
Okay.
Also, another thought that I just crossed my mind. Carlos, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
I remember you were in the lab and you were asking if the Kevlar string was okay to just tie together and stuff. Probably, yeah. But if we have the time and it's not too expensive to me being less than $30, just send me the link and I'll buy another one full length.
Yeah, I will get that done today. I don't think it's gonna be too expensive.
Yeah.
But I'll send it to Arturo, see if we can purchase it. If not, if you want to purchase it, I mean, I would prefer you didn't.
Yeah, I prefer if
But
I didn't do, but I mean, at
I'll
this
help.
point, I just want the rocket to perform well.
Okay, I'll split it with you if it comes down to it.
Okay.
Thank you,
If
Goose.
you want anything being purchased by Arturo, just know that he has been out of town and I guess he's sick right now, so I don't know what the response time would be like as far as getting that purchased.
I still have control over the accounts and stuff, so if you'll need something purchased within a reasonable hour of the day, I can get it done. Oh,
You're never gonna stop being treasurer, bro. You're gonna leave.
4:45 a.m. or no?
You're gonna be 50 and still be treasurer.
between the hours of like 6 and 9 p.m. Do it. Or all day
Yeah.
Friday.
Hey, I'm sorry to call anybody out, but I still have not gotten paid back. Like,
Yeah,
month and a
the
half later.
money's coming into the PayPal. It should arrive tomorrow, and then I can PayPal it to you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, off topic. Does anyone know a way to transfer money from my MasterCard gift card into my bank account?
You can go to like Walmart and get cash back, and then just take it to a bank and put it back in.
Can you get cash back?
Yeah, at Walmart, most of the time you can just do cash back. Like buy a pack of gum for like $1 and then get cash back for the rest of it.
I'll try that then. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope you all have a great week, and I'll be seeing you all soon. Thank you.
Yep. You
Bye.
too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Love all
Night.
of you.
I love y'all.